All right, big thanks, Brock Forsey. That series will continue tomorrow, Prater, with the MVP of the second bowl game Boise State went to, correct?
Bart Hendricks tomorrow, as we work our way down the list of Boise State MVPs. So
nice.
We got a lot of good ones. Bobby Hammer, Ryan Dinwiddie, Zabransky, Tadman. You guys are next. Wait for a phone call from Prater.
Good stuff. We talked earlier today about modifying the transfer portal. And before we get into this, Prater, just give us an update again on those numbers, almost at the levelty of absurdity.
2018, 2019, that calendar year is when the transfer portal opened. 1,729 players entered the transfer portal.
That 1 year.
1,729.
Okay.
As of this year, 3,085. Are you kidding me?
Double, more than double.
3,085. Yesterday was an all-time record. The previous record was 270 players in the transfer portal on one day. Yesterday, 780 players in the transfer portal on one day, now putting us well over 3,000. And the historical trend tells us that about 50% of these players will never play football again. They left football with a scholarship. They left a football team. They not only never found a football team, they never got back on scholarship. And now we're looking at 3,000 plus, maybe 3,500 by the time this sucker is done. Ball game, we got a problem.
It's crisis mode. And a lot of this, like, almost like leaving the scholarship and the degree possibility on the table for me is worse than the football part. Now, luckily, a lot of kids in the portal do go in as grad transfer, so good for them. They already have their degree. But, Prater, a hell of a lot more of them don't. They're just upset. They're not on track for the NFL. When they were in high school, they were the greatest thing since sliced bread, and now all of a sudden their dreams are caving, and they think that their current institution is depriving them of some rich NFL career. I think that's the big part, or one of the big parts about this transfer portal. So how the hell? Yeah.
Well, let's look at, we're going to look at big ideas. But the one small idea that I wanted to get out there is I don't like this deadline, by the way.
Yeah.
And that's a subplot to me. Yesterday was the deadline to put your name in there.
Mm-hmm.
We've all seen the guys on social media declaring, but you can't actually physically go into the portal until yesterday when it opened for business. I would like to see them, and I don't know why this date was yesterday. Obviously, it's because it's the end of the regular season and conference championship weekend, but it's before the bowl season, which I'd like to include as part of the season. I would like to see this date to be January 5th, not December 5th, because that's just one small part. That's not going to slow anybody down. And our big picture here is to slow this transfer portal down. But I'd like to see them adjust that deadline 1 month so most of these guys can stick around and play bowl games. There's no reason to self-eject now. Instant gratification can't feel that good. Change the deadline 1 month. That's a minor tweak. Ball game. Let's talk big tweaks.
All right. Big modifications. We got big ideas, JP.
One big gigantic idea.
All right. Where are we going with this?
Go for it, ball game. I loved your last one.
My idea, and this is the same idea I had before. I've just done a little bit of tweaks to it because I really like this idea, Prater, and that's an advisory board, a firm, separate from the NCAA, separate from a CFP, no affiliation with this stuff. And this firm, this advisory board, is there to help gauge the interest level that Power 5, Group of 5, FCS, Division II, or even NAIA programs might have on a potential participant in the transfer portal. Leave out mom and dad, leave out your high school coaches, leave out any possible NIL stuff. No, none of those, because they're just going to keep telling you how screwed over you're getting. That's not what my advisory board is going to do. It's going to be a database full of coaches and experts who will honestly give feedback to these players who put their name in. Maybe it costs money. Maybe it's $100 to see what you gauge on or whatever. If they have to stay in business or they need to do something like that. And they can give you back a detailed report between, I'm going to say 48 and 72 hours. Make it quick. Your current coaches, this is all classified information. They will not be informed that you have sought this advisory firm to indicate your potential status on the other end. Again, independent from the NCAA. My whole mission here, I do not want to stop these student athletes from entering the transfer portal if they want. All I want to do is inform them of their realistic options. If you're currently in a Power 5 school getting a wonderful education and, oh no, you're third on the depth chart, it's not going to be better if I'm going to tell you that your best shot is going to the Big Sky to play for the Idaho State Bengals. That might not be it. And that's even if they want you, Prater. That's my suggestion. That's my firm, an advisory board.
A lot like they do for the NFL. The NFL has an advisory board.
Yeah.
When they want to leave early, they check in with the advisory board. It's independent. They tell you suck, you stay, or you're good, you go to the NFL. I love that idea. JP, what do you got?
Well, just like Johnny was saying, mine is education for these players. I mean, they need to know if they're going to get, left in the portal or not. Some type of hard data that says, hey, if you're a freshman, the odds of you actually landing with another school are this much. Or if you haven't played this much, the odds of you landing on another school, don't look good. So these players, they need to be aware that they probably are going in. They might not be coming out. And one of the thoughts I had was maybe even a counselor on campus, just to kind of say, hey,
wow,
are you not happy here? I mean, we've seen 3 or 4 or 5 Boise State players this year enter the transfer portal. There can't be that much big of a deal to sit down with a counselor, 5 players, and say, hey, what are you thinking here? And at least kind of try to explain to them and make them more aware of, what's happening here.
I'm going to go a little bit step further, and I'm going to go a little bit harsh here, and I'm going to take a couple of years back in terms of where we were in college football. The transfer portal is fueled by 2 words: instant gratification. Guys that want to go play right now because they don't feel like they can earn it like they did back in the day. Back in the day, when you transferred, you used to have to sit out for 1 year. And I'm like Johnny and I'm like JP. I'm not worried or I'm not interested in telling these kids that they can't transfer. The transfer portal is good. It was designed with good intentions. These are the horrible unintended consequences. If you transfer, you can do whatever you want, but you have to sit out a year. Let's take the rule that we used to have because it worked then. And then we got squirrely. Sorry, Johnny. I don't mean to use that word. We got squirrely and we started changing these rules. You don't lose a year of eligibility. That was your idea to tweak it, Johnny. I like that idea a lot. So you have to sit out a year. It doesn't cost you a year of eligibility.
Yeah.
And you have to go back and you're not going to play football for at least 1 football season. Maybe even throw in a second option. You can either play that first year without sitting out a year, or maybe your scholarship is held for a year and you can't pay for a scholarship to play for football. You have to pay for it yourself. Maybe put that money into some kind of an account. And when you graduate or when your eligibility is done, we're going to give that back to you. But just slow down the instant gratification of being able to play right now or go somewhere else right now and get all that extra cash. I just think it's too fast and too furious. These kids need to slow down, take a deep breath, and figure out the reality of the transfer portal.
I mean, JT Daniels is now in the transfer portal again. USC, Georgia, West Virginia. He's a quarterback. Modern day was the sliced bread coming out of high school. And now he'll play for 4 teams. And we might see that might not be completely absurd. I remember.
How about a one-time transfer rule too? One time.
Yeah, and I'd be okay with that. That would stop the insanity, the absurdity that the transfer portal is. What'd you say? So there's 1,700 people got in this thing in like the last 48 hours or something, Prater? Like
over 1,000.
Over 1,000 players. There's 100. I mean, there's about 200 schools with all that. But yeah, anyway, good stuff, man. What are your ideas? 208-424-9300. Text us. Whose do you like? Whose do you not like? Anything else, Prater, you want to get on that sucker?
Nope.
All right, let's hop on some soapboxes, transfer portal folks. Prater in the ball game.
This is Idaho Sports Talk with Prater in the Ballgame.